How's it going? This is Martin here from Soul Trail. So I want to show you my, I think, #1 tent that I've been using for about over a year now. And I think out of all the tents that I've had so far, I think this is my favourite. The first ever backpacking tent I ever had was a Vango Cairngorm 100, and I adored the tent. Bit heavy, but it's kind of like the entry level tent that you'd get. So I've circled back to the Vango after trying a few other tents. This is the Vango Helium 1, Force 10 Helium 1. I absolutely love it. I really, really do. It's only 1.2 kilograms, which is very, very light. I've used it in storms and everything, and it still hasn't let me down. So let's go through it and let's pitch it and let's see how we get on with it. Okay, let's go through what we get. The one thing I do like about it, look how small the packaging is. It's ridiculous. Love it. My favorite thing about Vango tents is the side access bag. I had a Ferrino tent once and it was a nightmare because how small it was. Especially on the side of a mountain, you had to really try jam it in, but I love this. Okay, let's see what you get. You get a repair kit, you get a repair tube, very handy, and it weighs nothing, so you might as well bring it along with you. Then you get just each of the individual products of the material. Like that's the inner, that is the material for the bathtub floor, and then this is the outer, which is sticky, so if you ripped your tent when you were out and about, always very handy to have. This weighs nothing, so I would always keep it with it. You have 2 of these, they're the F10 Helium poles. They go at the very end. I'll show you where they go when we pitch it. And then these are the aluminium, very light pegs. The one thing I will say about them, they're very finger friendly. That's what I really like about them. A lot of pegs that you get really hurt your hands when you're pulling them out, but yeah, I really like these. They're quite a simple design, but so far they seem to be quite strong, so yeah, I like them. This is your main poles, but I'll show you these poles when we take them out. So normally you'd get the outer and the inner separately, but you can leave them attached, which makes for very quick pitching. Okay, let's get it up and I'll show you some of the features. So for this you have one large pre-bent pole right in the center. This is a hybrid tunnel design tent, so yeah, very handy that they're pre-bent. They actually call it the Gothic Arch, which I really like the name of it. So here she is in all her glory. I absolutely love it. I love when you have hybrid tunnel design tents, they're round like that. So this is what I was on about. These poles are SD70 poles. They're they say they're TBS pre-bent poles, and they have an arch design. It's a Gothic arch design. They say for 2 reasons. One, it creates more space in the inside of the tent, but secondly, it helps shed water off the external fly sheet. I have no issues so far. The outside is this is a waterproof Pertex 15 SRN fly sheet. It's 3000 millimeter hydrostatic head, so there's nothing getting through that. Plus it's not loud at all. When there's wind hitting this in the night time, it's not loud one bit. That's what I really like. The tent comes with fully taped seams, so they're waterproof seams already, so there's no need to put seam sealer on it, which is fantastic. So these are TBS, they're ultralight guidelines. They're very strong, they're not going anywhere. Then you have your elastic bungee cord on the inside. That's for the inner and the outer both go through the same peg. I'll show you the inner in a minute. This is the outer pole, which goes into a sleeve up top, and once you angle it right, you won't get slack in the inside. I've seen a lot of people giving out about the internals of this tent is very saggy, but what I found is if you angle the poles right from the outside, it helps stretch and pull the inner, When I first pitched it, I found it the very same as what other people were saying. It's very saggy in the inside, but if you angle the poles right, it's fairly good. The outer poles go into this grey sleeve which follows all the way over. I think I would have liked if that sleeve went all the way down to here, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. You have two external guidelines, one here and one here. You go in the direction of the flap that comes out to hold your guideline, but for stability this has a trick up its sleeve and it's in the inside, and I'll show you in a minute. You have Velcro here and Velcro here. You also have a clasp in the inside, so when you're inside in your tent you can lock these together. I've used it a lot, and especially in very, very strong wind, you know that the zips are protected and they're not going to rip open, so that's cool. Nice little feature. So the vestibule, not the biggest in the world. You will fit your bag down there okay, but if it was raining, right, it has two things going for it. One, it has the double zip, so you can unzip from the top to leave air out if you are cooking in your vestibule. I would always worry about cooking inside in such a small space, but what you can do when you're inside in it is you can unbuckle it, and if you unbuckle it here, it allows you to pull back the floor, so you have a way bigger space in your vestibule. Very, very handy. So on the inside you have your 15D nylon breathable mesh. It's very, very fine, so there is no insects whatsoever getting through that, so that's perfect. So the ground sheet, it's 6,000 millimeter hydrostatic head and 70D ripstop, so it is very, very strong. You have one pocket here, and then over here you have another pocket. Down at the bottom where the pole goes through, you have your air vent. I had no issues so far with condensation at all because you have a vent on both ends. So look at this and this. This is your TBS Pro internal guideline stability system. It goes up here, it goes through Velcro in your door, and then up onto the clasp here and the clasp there and down. So these go all the way down to the structure of the pole, which is attached to your Gothic arch poles at the top. So not only is the stability on the outside coming from the Gothic arch, but you also have like a triangle shape on the inside as well that pulls the Gothic arch pole into place a lot more. So not only is it stable from the outside, well, it's majorly stable from the inside as well. I'll be keeping this tent, I think, always. I will never sell it. I probably have other small tents that will come and go, but this is always going to stay with me. Pros and cons. The pros, it's ultra lightweight. It's only 1.2 kilograms. It is 4 seasons because you have the inner mesh. It's very, very strong in the wind. It's not noisy. Yeah, it's I really like it. And plus it's an outer pitch first. I love the outer pitch first because it gives you the opportunity to put all the tent up in one without worrying about getting it wet. What I don't like about it, I'm not quite sure. As you can see, I'm actually in love with this tent. I suppose the only one thing I'd say is I wish that that sleeve was all the way down to here. I don't know why they didn't come to here. At least it'll give a better structural sound to it. But look, it's only a small little gripe, but it's nothing major really. The only other thing, I suppose, is the size of the vestibule. But you do have that trick that you're able to use. You can pull that all the way back and cook comfortably inside it without worrying. Not many more gripes besides those 2 small little ones. But yeah, I've loved this tent. I brought it across Iceland without any issues whatsoever, and it's one that I'm going to be keeping for a long time. I'm so delighted with it. I love the Vango products anyway. So yeah, so that's my Vango Helium 1 Force 10 1-person lightweight backpacking tent. You can't go wrong. I'll put more details in the description. Thanks for watching. Bye.